Hello, and I hope you're all having a great day. I changed my hair. I finally took out those braids that I've been rocking for the past like 2.5 months. But again, with my blanket, it's cozy season, and I kind of try to sit down and talk. I hope I don't sit down, but I just kind of wanted to talk about like feelings and running a business and all that stuff. So the main topic for today, I wrote it down, is going to be. Let's double check. I want to read this right. I titled it how to deal with letdown slash like failure as like a business owner, because running a business, as you know, it's not like always peaches and cream. Like there are going to be up moments, there are going to be down moments. There are times when you're riding that high, and there are other times where it just seems like life is kind of beating me up right now. And something similar happened to me recently, and I just kind of want to share my experience and I guess how I've been dealing with it and how I'm going to do going forward. So about a week, maybe a video or two back, I talked about posting a knotless braids class, which is going to be my first ever class, which I was super excited about. And I created all the content. I spent like hours recording. It was like because the hairstyle stuff takes about like seven hours, and then I recorded it, and then of course I was teaching in the moment, which was another. So the whole process took about like 9 hours. This is just so you get like a bit of context of the amount of time that I put in. The whole recording process, like we're filming it and all that, probably took about like 9 to 9.5 hours. I did that, and then one of the Tuesdays right before I was supposed to launch, I spent like 6 hours at Starbucks editing the video. And throughout that process, I was posting 3 times a week on my main like page on Instagram to promote it. I posted it on a Facebook group chat that I found. Literally, I paid $20 for a TikTok promotion. What else did I do? I did a lot. I did a lot getting ready for that class, and literally the night before it was supposed to go live, I moved a little bit and my external hard drive like ejected incorrectly out of my laptop, and then that was the end of the class. The whole video went south. Yeah, the whole video went south. The whole thing, I could not use it anymore because the whole file corrupted. So that was, and the class was going to be 3 hours long. So I edited down about a 4-hour footage down to 3 hours. Like I said, I spent a lot of time adding like text, cropping it out, zooming it in, like all the effort it takes to edit a video, I put into that video. And literally the night before, it went south, and I was like, crap. And the next day I was like, you know what, because this happened on Thanksgiving Day, by the way. I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna let it ruin my Thanksgiving Day. I'm just gonna go to sleep. I'm not gonna freak out. I woke up the next morning at 7 a.m. because I was supposed to launch it, I think, at noon on Black Friday. Also, I bought a domain, which cost some money too. I got new lights, I got microphones, like everything you can imagine to get ready. I got a new tripod. Like, I spent so much money and I put so much effort into this class, and yet at the end of it, it just did not work out, and it was not the time to launch it. And it sucked in the moment, like that whole Black Friday, because I spent like 5 hours between the company of like Apple, which is what I use for my Mac, and then of course, and then my external hard drive, the company. I called them back and forth. They were like, they can try and help me, but at that point they didn't even send me the information. Like, I tried reaching back out. They're like, oh, since it didn't have warranty, because I got the external hard drive off of Amazon, it didn't work out. But so to say, all in the end, the class, I wasn't able to launch it on Black Friday, and I remember bawling my eyes out because I was like, yo, and like I'm a woman of faith. I pray to God. I felt like, you know what? I felt like I've been like leading, like living very like carefully. And like the thing with faith is sometimes you don't, like, you literally have to move in faith and know that, okay, I've prayed, I've done my part, and now it's time to move, and like it's in God's hand. And I just felt like I've been playing it safe with my business for a while, and it was truly time to, like, if I wanted to grow my business to what it needed to be, this was the time to move. And I remember seeing multiple videos. I prayed about it. Me and my family did a whole like prayer and fasting. Like, I was ready for that class. Like, if you look at it, I did everything right leading up to that class, and yet at the end of it, it didn't come through. And it sucked in the moment. Like I said, I spent that whole Friday bawling my eyes out, and it sucked because, like, you put all this effort in. Sometimes that happens. Like, you research a product. Let's say you want to launch a product. You research it. You do all this effort, and then it comes maybe the day of sale, and maybe nobody buys it, or like one person buys it, and it's just like, yo, I put all this effort in, nothing happened. But I wanted to tell you that that's part of life. It sucks, but it's part of life. And I was talking to my business coach, who's Tiana Robinson, and she was talking about how, like, in moments like that, you just kind of have to switch it to. Like, if life switches on you sometimes, because now looking back, I probably gave up a little too soon because I was just, like, so devastated. And sometimes that does happen where it's like, when something goes wrong and it's just so huge, you're just like, yo, what the heck? And you just give up, you pack up your bags, like, I'm done, I'm sick of it, and you're just over it, and that happens. But what she told me that I could do and I wanted to share is, like, next time I could switch it up and maybe make it a pre-order, and then now I don't have to waste so much time and I could just still show the class later on. We edited the video, we filmed it, and all that stuff. But that's not something that I thought about in the moment. So I guess what I want to say with that point is, when life switches up on you, find a way to switch it right back around and find a way to find a positive outlook out of it, because it sucks. And my dad always says this to me, it's not always a straight line. We know we want to get to point B, and we know we have to start from point A to point B. On the road there might be freaking detours, traffic, everything. And this is just for, like, regular life, but also with, like, life, like, metaphorically speaking. Like, we have a direct linear way. We're like, okay, I want to get from here to here. Everything is going to be simple. Sometimes there's going to be detours. Sometimes there's going to be traffic. Does that mean it's not for you? Absolutely not. It just means you're going to have to put in a little bit more work. Or maybe if I got there, maybe if I sold that class now, maybe I wouldn't have got any sales. And shoot, who knows? Maybe I would have felt much worse about that than I did about the class not launching at all. And now, instead of me, like, sulking about it, because I was at that Black Friday, I was like, you know what, I'm so sick of this. I'm done. I'm not going to sell the class. But now I'm like, okay, you've had your moment. Like, one thing I always do when failure or, like, something happens in your business that lets you down, I always give myself one day. I try to give myself one day, no more than one day, to truly, like, sit in my feelings. If I have to cry, if I have to eat, like, a bunch of junk food, whatever I have to do to, like, soak and get my feelings out, I would do it that day. However, the next day I come back and I'm like, you know what, okay, with the external hard drive going off, and this happens a lot in your business when things go wrong, some of the things are truly, truly out of your control. And as much as they suck, trust me, I understand that they suck. Sorry. Most times there's literally nothing you could have done. There was no way I could have predicted that, like, my external hard drive was going to go wrong. Let's say you wanted to sell a product, and maybe the day your product comes from China and you shipped it, and then you get there and you send them a perfect copy of what the label looks like, they ship it to you, it's completely off. Yeah, that sucks, but, like, that's not in your control anymore. And one thing I had to learn to tell myself is, like, if it's not in my control anymore, I truly need to stop freaking out about it. And it sounds harsh to say, like, yo, like, that's why I said I like to give myself at least one day to, like, freak out, how my friends like, oh my gosh, how dare you, be upset, be pissy. But, like, the next day I truly sit down and I'm like, you know what, there's nothing I could have done to make that scenario better. And sometimes you put all your efforts in and it still doesn't go south. Like I said, it just might not be the time. Maybe in, like, a month or two, when I want to relaunch my class and I've built my following a lot better, who knows, that class can be a lot more successful than if it were right now. And shoot, I might even learn more tips and tricks between now and then to make sure that the class is even better. So my whole idea with this is, like, this is all over the place, but I just wanted to, like, spew and vent type thing. But my whole thing is just, like, when life throws you lemons, you might want to make lemonade or whatever. Sometimes you might need to switch it up and use it as, like, a garnish on iced tea. Like, it might not always work out the way you want to, but, like, life is all about, like, rolling with the punches and switching it up. So that's my main thing that I wanted to, like, talk about and kind of, like, share with you. Like I said, it completely sucks. Like, you're planning out your business, you're like, oh, this happened, like, you had everything ready, and then it just seemed like it's not the moment. And if you're believing God, and I hope you do, this is time where, like, you gotta go back to God and be like, God, I thought you told me yes, like, what happened? And know that, like, this is when I go to verses like Jeremiah 29:11, where he talks about, for I know the plans that I have for you, and, like, they are to prosper you, not to harm you. And this is when I know that, like, okay, I don't understand what's going on, but, like, so far in my life, nothing that has been, like, so, like, stressful that, like, in the moment I thought, like, oh my gosh, this is the end of the freaking world. And then I look back on now and I'm like, I'm so glad it worked out the way it did, even though in the moment I couldn't understand it. And things like that are what I use to help remind myself that, like, you know, and that's why I like to give myself a day, because I'm like, it's human nature. As much as you want to say, oh, you shouldn't be upset or don't suck it up type of thing. Sometimes in that moment, you don't want to suck it up. Sometimes in that, like, you literally don't want to suck it up. Like, you need to have your feelings. And that's why I allow myself to have a day, and most maybe to have my feelings. But usually after a day, I'm fine. And then I know that, okay, you know what? All the bad things that I thought happened, I remember those, like, in college, those papers where I thought, oh my gosh, if I don't hit this, and this would literally be the death of me. Now I'm looking back and I'm like, you're fine. Like, you graduated college now, and, like, you're chilling. So, that's one second, my eyes watering. So yeah, that's my whole point, to just like, in moments where everything goes south, after you've like sobbed and be like, oh my gosh, this is so sad, like, truly remember that, like, God has plans to prosper you. God has plans to push you forward. God has plans to like progress you, and like none of them will harm you. Like, certain things you might not understand in the moment, but like you will always look back and be like, okay, this makes sense. Like, I remember for me, when I was going to college and I wanted to go out of state so bad, my parents were like, no. I thought it was the end of the world. I was so pissy. Like, I went to the college that they wanted me to go to, and not the one and I was so sad. I was so upset. Had I gone out of state to college, this business would not be what it is today, because I probably wouldn't have been able to do the braiding and doing because like I was able to work from home while I was at college that I could drive to every day. However, had I dorm, I can't be running a hair braiding business from like the comfort of my dorm. Like, it's not practical, it's not possible. And then when I come home, I'll have to build a whole new clientele. When instead now I've built a stable and solid clientele where I am, and I can continue doing that after I've graduated college. Had I gone out of state, that would not be the case. So that's another scenario of like, in the moment it felt like the worst thing ever, but just know that everything will work out in the end. And I hope it's not gonna be a long video, but I truly just wanted to encourage you that, like, it sucks when things don't go well, but just know God's got you. God's got you. Like I said, sit in your feelings for a day, have your feelings, know that. And when you're going through things, you don't have to go with like a pessimistic mindset. Just know that, okay, as much as you're preparing for greatness, just know that just in case this doesn't go well, that's okay too. And you know that in the right time, in due time, this will work out, and it will be a great plan, and everything will work out in the end. But I don't mean to sound this like super inspiration and like sugarcoat stuff. Like I said, these things suck in the moment, but it's part of life. Your business will be okay. One letdown does not mean like your whole business is over and like everything is done. Like me, like I said, that class, it sucked. And honestly, some days I still think about it. I'm like, damn, that really went south. But I still have my clients. I'm still braiding hair, and in the moment, in the right time, I'm gonna revisit the topic and I'm gonna launch it. And I know it's gonna be better than I can imagine. I wanted to come on here and just share my own experience recently, because like it's still a little, the story's a little still fresh. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and share that, and know that I will be back with the classes soon enough, and you will be able to launch your product or your class or whatever it is that like you set up and you put so much effort into, and it just didn't work out. Just know, in due time, God will guide you, and God will help you work it out in the end. And that's pretty much it for this video. I have a few more tutorials. Like I said, I have a few more videos that I'm going to talk about for the rest of the year for Braiders Talk, because I do want us to go into the year with the right mindset. And this is not just for braiders. If you're lash tech, nail tech, whatever, you can still benefit from these videos as well. But yeah, the three that I have coming up is what to do when how you know when it's your time to raise your prices, because I will be raising my prices going into 2022, and I'm going to share how I knew it was time to raise my prices and how to go about it, and we're going to walk through this whole process in real time. So that video will probably go up on December 18th at 2 p.m. And then the next one is what to do if you get a bad client, because we've all had a client, story or not, and just how to go about it properly without ruining your business in the process and stuff like that. So that will go up on probably the 24th, Christmas Eve. And then the 29th will probably just be a sit-down chit-chat. And I'll probably ask a few questions on like Instagram and just how I'm prepping into the new year and how I want to walk into the new year, making sure that my business is in the right state and I go in, yeah, how to make sure my business is in the right state and just go in properly for the new year, and not set like unrealistic expectations for myself that I know I can't meet, but just go in it with a realistic but also like expectant mindset. That's a better word. There you go. And then we also have some tutorials coming up. But I hope this video has helped you. It was a quick and short one, but like I said, I just wanted to truly share that, like, just make you feel like you're not alone in this, because I know I'm not the only one going through this, and we will overcome this, and we will be successful, and we will come out on the other side. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned a few things or two. And if there are other things that you do to make sure like you don't keep yourself too down, or just how you deal with like letdowns or failures in general with business, just let me know. And I honestly, I don't feel like calling them failures. I feel like they're more like life lessons. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, and bye.